Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After our disaster and eldritch horror from earlier this morning, we're all set to start a new background career in one of my favorite war games, that of course being The Hunters by ConSimPress and GMT Games. This one has you in charge of a German U-boat trying to make it through a career as a U-boat skipper in World War II. In The Hunters, you're trying to get from the start of the war in September 1939 all the way through to June 1943. The Hunted in this series will take you the rest of the way through the war. So it might be a little bit hard to see, but we've got our commandant, who is rank 1. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. Oberleutnant Xerxes Schultz. Didn't come up with a real good German first name for him, so we'll just go with Schultz. Might be a little bit hard to see, but we've got his torpedo load all set up. We've got 10 of the electric torpedoes and 12 of the steam set to go. We've got several reloads. We've got plenty of reloads. We're definitely forward, and we've got some aft reloads as well. Evening, Jay. You have this game and love playing it. Well, hopefully I can do a pretty good presentation on this one as well. Hopefully better than the disaster I had in D&D on Friday. I think it was Friday, where both my characters got picked off. Anyway, with that musing aside, we are all set to get into this career, so let's jump right in. And our first order of business, of course, is that we need a patrol assignment. So I'm keeping the patrol assignment off chart. Or not off chart, off shot. Actually, let me see if I can bring my log books over. I've got a log sheet where I'm going to be keeping track of the ships I sink, but also a separate log book that I'll be using to make notes for maybe doing after action reports. This is not a Type 7C, this is a Type 9A. This is one that's available at the start of the war, which is where we're jumping in. So we're jumping in with our first patrol of 1939. So we'll be rolling on our U-boat patrol assignment chart for 1939. So depending on the roll we get, and this will be some of the 2d6 rolls. So let's see where our first assignment is. Let's see, 7. We're being sent up to the British Isles. Okay, so we are all set there. So now we'll move out to the British Isles, and we've got our first Bay of Biscay box. Another 2d6 roll. 2, 3, or 4 means we got something crazy going on here. Hopefully, none of the above get rolled. That's a 6, so nothing happening. Then we have our first transit box. Actually, let me grab my tweezers. I was going to say, I know I've got a set of those. Let me make sure I can get a hold around there. Okay. Just making sure my tweezers still work. On transit, we want a 2, 3, or a 12. Well, 2, 3, or 12, it means there's something going on. Anything else means it's all quiet. That's a 7, all clear. So now we're out to the British Isles. Which the British Isles actually is indicative that there's something eventful going on here. Quite a few ways that we can potentially get ambushed. Don't get sunk. Thanks for the friendly advice there, Jester. I'll try not to get sunk. Hopefully I won't. Hopefully Schultz's crew won't decide that, hey, let's go stop a torpedo with our faces. Let's see, a 5. We have a ship. So the way we'll roll for that is I'll roll a d6 for the size. Actually, I'll roll a d6 for the size. Then I've got a d100 for the identity of the ship. We'll roll black as our 10s, white as our 1s. So let's see what we've got coming at us. Let's see, a 5 is a decent-sized ship. That's a large freighter. And a 64. 64 on a large freighter. We're actually getting a start here with a decent ship all told. The 5,300-ton Silver Bell. Okay. So now we need I'm gonna have to do a little bit of rearranging here on everything I've got because I will be attacking this. I will be attacking this large freighter. So we need the combat mat in shot. First order of business, we need to see what time of day it is. And that'll be a D6 roll. Oops, D6, not D10. All right, a 3 says it's day. With a day attack, I think we're going to... I'm not going to risk getting this shifted over to night. So I think we are going to attack it in the daytime, but we are going to have to attack submerged. So day will attack submerged. And we will get up nice and close to this one. Of course, there is no wolf pack because there is no wolf pack since it's so early in the war. So we need a large freighter shit out for this right here. So there's our lone target. I think given that we're attacking submerged, I think we are going to need to... And given the way I was rolling earlier this morning in Eldritch, good grief. I feel like I'm going to throw my first load of torpedoes at it, but this is going to be a fairly long patrol. So I think we actually will go ahead and throw... Let's see, roll for sizes. We're not aborting. We don't have to worry about Arctic patrol. Rolling for day-night. We did that already. We're not going to wait for night. No escort, so we select the range. We're going to launch our forward torpedoes at this first. Unfortunately, we've got all-electric torpedoes, so we need to be very careful as they like to dud out on me a lot more than I would like. So we're going to get set up for fire 1. We'll be rolling 2d6 for the actual hit and a black die to see if it's a dud or not. So fire 1. We want to see an 8 or less on the white dice and above a 3 on the black die. That's an 11, but of course that's not only an 11 to be a miss, but the 1 would have been a dud anyway. So that one's a miss. Fire 2. That's also a miss, but that would not have been a dud. Well, we're off to a rockin' good start. Fire 3. Great. I'm gonna have to have a chat with our gunner. And fire 4. That's a 7, and that one actually is a hit. So now we will roll for damage here on the torpedo. So we want to see a low roll here, and we need 3 damage, I believe, Yep, we'll need 3 damage to sink a large freighter. So we want a 1 or a 2 ideally. That's a 3, so it deals 2 damage. We've got 2 damage on the large freighter. But now, since we don't have but since we have an unused weapon left, we'll also fire our aft torpedoes at this. So now we've got aft fire 1. Under the same parameters for the torpedoes. We just need 1 hit, and we sink it. Ow! My hand hurts. That's an 8, which is good enough to be a hit, and the 4 is going to be is no dud. So we've got a good. Oops, so hang on. So hit and D. All right, we'll roll for the other torpedo as well, but I know we're putting the silver bell in the drink. That's a 5, which would be another hit and that's another hit and a no dud. So we'll roll damage for both of these. But either way, the silver bell is going to end up at the bottom of the British Isles. Wow, where was that one? Where was that one when we needed the hit earlier? So we probably touched off the ammo on, or the munitions that they were shipping over there. So we do manage to nail the silver bell. So I'll bring the combat mat out of shot. We'll bring this in, do our reload. We are getting steam torpedoes on our aft torpedo tubes, so those are a little bit more reliable usually. Bring the dice tower back in shot. I don't want that to go flying on me. But now we're getting ready for British Isles too. I'm a little annoyed. that freighter took 6 torpedoes to sink. Because whoever's aiming this thing can't get out of their own way today. That's a 4, which is nothing. So we're over to British Isles 3. Oh boy, we've got a capital ship coming at us already. Oh, this is going to be fun. So I'm trying to remember what die we need for capital ships. It's actually a D10 that we need. Let's see what capital ship we've got coming at us already. That's a 10, so we've got the CVE Audacity at 11,000 tons. So a capital ship already. The question is, how adventurous am I feeling on this one? Very early in the war. This would be a hell of a prize for the Kreigsmarine, but on the same token, I do need to be very, very careful. Let's... You know what? F it. YOLO. We're going to YOLO this one, so we are going to attack. Probably a bad idea, but hey, it's wartime, right? So now we need the chit for the Audacity. Let me see if I can find it in here. There we are. And we need the combat mat right back in shot. Should slide in right about there. Perfect. Maybe not perfect. Let me see if I can bring the tower a little bit more into shot here in combat. I think that's probably about the best I'm going to be able to do with that. So we've got the Audacity. That can leave the shot, and that'll go in there. All right, so now we need to roll for time of day. And we're probably gonna have to go in no matter what. The one says it's daytime. That's a problem. Okay, so we are going to have to attack submerged once again against the Audacity. Right? There is an escort, so we will be attacking from medium range because I don't much feel like trying to get up close to this thing with an escort with it. All right, so we are going to assign the forward torpedoes to it. This could be very ugly, but we'll see what happens here. So I think with that, we're not surfaced, so fire one. Since we're at medium range, we want the white dice now to be 7 or less, and the same dud roll on the electric torpedoes still stands. We need a 1 to 3. Or we need to be above a 3. That's a 5, but unfortunately the 3 is a dud. So a dud slams home. Fire 2. Another hit and another dud. Fire 3. Miss and no dud. Delightful. Fire 4. Okay, there's a hit and no dud. Now we'll roll for damage. That's a 3, which is good for 2 damage. All right, so the Audacity takes 2 damage. But now we need to try to get away from this thing. Try to get away from the escort. So fortunately, we are already submerged. So we do have an option to exceed test depth, which we will. So that'll be our first point of damage. Technically, we would roll to see if the hull collapses, but since this is our first damage, we don't have to worry about taking. I'm not going to worry about rolling for it because we can't roll a 1 on 2 dice. Actually, I believe it's a 2 dice roll on trying to exceed test depth. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure it's a roll 2d6. I can't roll a 1 on 2d6, so I'm not going to worry about rolling for that. We're just going to go right into rolling for escort detection, which is on. Oh, it's actually on this escort detection chart. So we get a -1 modifier because we exceeded test depth. That's a 9. -1 is an 8, which just barely gets us into the undetected range. And I mean barely. All right, so we are undetected. We didn't have any hits that we took. So okay, so we undetected. Right, yes. Okay, so undetected brings us back down here. So we are going to see if we can follow the capital ship. Ship is damaged, but it will keep its escort. So we'll reload on our forward tubes. And we'll loop back again to start the encounter all over. This time we are going to follow it. This time what are we going to do here? Are we going to let it go to nighttime so we can attack surfaced? Because now that we've damaged it, we did reload. We've got a damaged ship, which means we're actually going to choose night this time to attack. We are going to choose night to attack. Are we going to attack submerged? Are we going to stay submerged or attack surfaced this time? I feel like staying submerged is probably the safer play here. So I think that's what we're going to go with. So undetected, followed to night. So we have managed to put some hits on the Audacity. Back had to go help again. All good, Jester. Hopefully the wife is still recovering nicely from her knee surgery. Okay, so followed tonight, and we're attacking again. Hopefully we're not just going to blow our torpedo load on these first two encounters, but still, this might end up being very much worth it if we can nail a capital ship right off the bat. So we are going to throw our forward torpedoes at this again. I'm attacking submerged again because I figure that's a much safer play than trying to attack. Oh, we had +1 modifiers on the electric torpedoes at medium range. I forgot about that. We're not going to worry about that now, though. It's a little too late for that. So we'll send our first steam torpedo off, forward 1. Getting better each day, but you go back to work tomorrow, so she'll be on her own mostly until you get home. Hopefully everything still goes well with that, though. And now we have our first attack of our second shot at it. We want a 1 to 2 on the steam torpedo, or we want to be above a 2 on the steam torpedoes to not be duds. That's a 7, and that 5 is a dud. The 5 is no dud, so forward 1. So that one will be a hit. Fire 2. That's a miss, but no dud. So that one's a miss. And I almost forgot we've got veteran crew to start with. Fire 3. It would be nice to get at least one more hit out of this, so I've got a little bit more room to play with on the damage rolls. That's a 7, and fortunately the 3 is above the dud range. And fire 4. That's a 7, and the 3 is no dud. So we got 3 hits, which means I'm pretty sure we should be putting the Audacity in the drink, barring anything crazy. Let's see what happens here, though. Let's see, that is 3 instances of 1 damage, but 3, 4, 5 will sink the Audacity. Very nicely done to the crew of U-26. But before we can celebrate, we do need to roll escort detection. See if we can get away again. So once again, we are going to exceed test depth, and we will have to roll to see if the boat survives. Because this time we can roll it. We can roll a 2 on 2d6. Except that's a 7, so we managed to survive that. So now we're exceeding test depth, which means now we need to see if we get detected. Hopefully not. We're on a -1 for exceeding test depth. Oh, and it's a +1 because of a capital ship. We just sunk the capital ship. I didn't see that modifier. That's a 6, so we are undetected, which means we escape. And we are most definitely calling it an encounter after that one. The question is, are we calling it a patrol too, given that we only have a total of 8 torpedoes left, and we don't even have a full forward reload? Yes, congrats are in order to the crew of U-26 for nailing their first capital ship. So British Isles 4. The Audacity is very much a huge prize. While it's not the biggest prize, actually the smallest capital ship of the 10 in the game, but it's still a big prize this early in the war. So British Isles 4. 7 is nothing, which is very much welcome. And British Isles 5 would love another nice quiet result. That's an 11, which is another nothing roll. So now we're on transit 2. So now we're on our way back home. So transit 7 is nothing. And Bay of Biscay 2. That's a 5, which is, wow, just the top of nothing, but it is nothing all the same. So that was actually quite a patrol for us. So we sunk a total of 16,300 tons. And I believe we've got medals coming from the results of this first patrol. Let's see. Not random events. Crew advancement, that's not what I want either. Commandant promotion. Oh, looks like we just got the Knight's Cross right off. So now we'll find the Knight's Cross in here. And what does the Knight's Cross? No +1 die roll penalty to hit when firing a second salvo from the aft tubes during a night surface attack. So just like that, we've got the Knight's Cross. And now you may celebrate the sinking of the Audacity. So we'll have a month of refitting while I reload with the torpedoes. Since we already have a spread of steam torpedoes all set to go, I'll just go ahead and reload the electric torpedoes into my reload section. Let's see, so 8. We need 10 electrics. We'll go 9, 10. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's on the steam torpedoes. So I'll take a quick drink. And then we will be all set to go into November 1939. We don't have a patrol in October because we had the month of refit. So let's see where we're being sent this time. That's a 9. We're being sent to the British Isles, but we're on a mine-laying mission this time. Okay, I was wondering if there was going to be a separate section for the mine-laying and obver missions, and it turns out there is. So I need to do a little bit of preparation on the mine-laying mission before we're ready to go. And actually, before I even do that, I'm going to open the window. Even though it's 22 degrees out, I'm frying in here. So I'm going to let a little bit of fresh air in. Hopefully the curtain will control how much of the actual fresh air will control how much of the air gets in, cold air gets in here. So it looks like we've got to load everything up with a, looks like we should have enough mines in here. Mine laying, okay, so mines must be loaded into all. Okay. We'll get our steam torpedoes clear and get our mines set out. It's not necessarily the smell I'm worried about, Jester. It's more the heat in here. I'm very warm. Let's see. So that's our patrol assignment. And on special, okay, so on special missions, we just don't want to get aircraft, and we just don't want to get hit by aircraft. I believe that's what we want there. Okay. Aircraft encounters during a special mission receive a -1 modifier on the aircraft encounter chart. Okay. So now that we've got that sorted out, we're just about all set here. So let's go into the Bay of Biscay 1. That's a 10. We've got nothing going on. Transit 1. Transit 1, 4 is nothing going on. That's a relief. So now we've got to roll for our mission. As long as we don't get ambushed by aircraft on a -1 modifier, then we will end up, then we'll get our mines out, then we'll go back to normal patrol. So let's see what we get here. That's a 5 minus 1 is a 4. 1939, you wouldn't be going through the Bay of Biscay, you'd be coming from Germany. Well, it's based on what the mat is saying in the game here, so it's probably just another transit box. I guess it's probably another transit box for the time being. But anywho, we did get ambushed by an aircraft because of that -1 modifier. So that means we've got to roll on the... That means we've got to roll for the air attack chart. So is there any kind of modifier that we are going for here? The chart should be different for transit. There is a... So on the encounter chart, when you're in the Bay of Biscay, we're rolling on the Bay of Biscay, and that's what it's saying. It's saying transit... Let me bring another U-boat in. maybe this is where I'm getting confused. So the first and last boxes are both saying transit parentheses Bay of Biscay. So maybe that's a detail that I was missing that I've been missing in my earlier plays. But it does say Bay of Biscay in there, so that's why I've been doing that. And Conflict Board Gaming now joining us here just in time for our mine laying mission to end up getting attacked. So we're going to roll for the attack. That's a 9, so we'd be taking 3 hits. And then we'll be rolling these APA style. For those of you who aren't familiar with APA, we've got black for the 10s, white for the 1s. Have this game and played multiple times. Fun game to leave set up and see how far one can get. Yeah, it is a lot of fun in that regard. France doesn't fall until 1940, and then you go out from France. So that's probably when the Bay of Biscay then comes into play. That makes sense. Anyway, we've got to roll for our first hit. 65 is 2 hull hits, which reminds me, that should have reset, so we're actually right back there. Actually, I think we have to see if we escape the hull hit or the aircraft encounter. Wait, hold on. I think I probably did that wrong. Come on. I forgot what that rank is. Corporal, Lieutenant, Phoenix, probably. We're not... Well, we're actually off to a great start. We actually nailed a capital ship on our very first patrol. But right now I'm trying to make sure I've got the... I'm trying to make sure I've got my air attack straight here. So I think we were supposed to roll on the air encounter. So let's back up a little bit. So we rolled for aircraft. We have to roll on the aircraft encounter to see if we take any hits. That's a 4, so we do take an attack. So it would have been 1 hit, which means we take the... Actually, it's a type 9, so yeah, we would have taken... 3 would be still 1 hit, so yeah, we'd take the... Actually, hold on. The -1 on the type 9 and the +1 for 1939 cancel each other out. So this would have been... So this would have been 1 hit, which means we did take our 2 hull hits. Right, and then we have then we have a flak attack. Which is a 9, so we do shoot down the flak attack. So on E1 chart, transit is next to Spanish coast. That's for Germany. Okay. So transit until 1940, then the Bay of Biscay. Probably explained somewhere in the rule book, but I'm not going to go digging for it right now. Anyway, we've got all that shot down. What I do need to figure out, though, is what happens if we get attacked on the torpedo failure chance. Yeah, I was having a lot of problems with that. During the early years, shot multiple torpedoes because, half of them might be duds. I did the exact same thing on that first patrol conflict. Let's see, success or failure of a mission. Okay, so it looks like if we get it, so it looks like we still jettison the mines, but so it looks like we still jettison the mines, but we got attacked. So the patrol is going to be a failure anyway, which is rather unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do about that right now. So we'll reload with our normal torpedoes. And my neighbor's at it again, but on that note, we'll go out into the British Isles. So because of the mission, we only have 4 British Isles boxes in this patrol. So British Isles 1, 7 is nothing. British Isles 2. Happy Thanksgiving, and to all others in chat. It's a little bit late, but happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. So British Isles 2. That's a 3, also nothing. British Isles 3. Normally I'd be saying 3 right now, or 4. The mission kind of threw me off a little bit. Seven again is nothing. Now we're at British Isles 4. That's an 8. We actually have a ship coming at us. Let's see, Bay of Biscay 736. Right, beginning July 1940. No wonder I can't find it. It's hidden in plain sight, and my eyesight is clearly going in my old age. And thanks for the comment about my watch conflict. It's actually my Apple Watch. So now we need to figure out what kind of ship we've got coming at us. Oop. I want the D100, not the 2D6. Herp-a-derp. Let's see, 5 is another large freighter. 37. Large freighter 37. Whoa! Holy cow, that's another big prize. The 18,700-ton Laurentic. That is a big boy. And since it's unescorted, we are going to go after it. So let's bring the combat mat back in shot. The Audacity can F off because of course it's in pieces at the bottom of the British Isles right now. So now let's see what time of day it is. We're definitely not aborting the encounter. Let's see. Right, so sizes and IDs, we did all that. So T1, T2. Okay, so now we have to roll for the time of day. It is night. Knew it was an Apple Watch, but it looks nice and haven't worn a watch since 1985. I'm going to make you feel really old, Conflict, but it sounds like you haven't worn a watch since I was born. Anyway, we've already rolled for that. And now we're going to get up nice and close to this one. We're going to attack from close range. And we've got all kinds of firepower that we can throw at this. So we'll start off with our forward torpedoes. Bring all 4 of these in. Fire 1, and since we are firing from close range, we want to see an 8 or less on the white dice, and a 4 or higher on the black die, which I've got in here for dud. That's a 7 on the white dice, and since this is actually, I forgot to mention that we are attacking surface, since this is a night attack. Conflict is not the only one I'm making feel old. Sorry, guys. Don't shoot me on that one. That's just the way things go. And speaking of 1985, I will mention that my 1985 season replay is going to be in season tickets starting January 1st. So if you're a baseball fan as well, I encourage you to stop by for that. But I'm getting off topic here. We've very much got a hit with no dud. That's fire 1. Fire 2. Another true hit. We may pick up another huge prize here. Fire 3. You're only 54 and a half. Well, I'll swallow the sarcastic comment I've got at that conflict. What I won't swallow, though, is my annoyance that one is going to be a miss, and it would have been a dud. And fire 4. Another good hit. So we've got 3 solid hits. Surrounded by Jay's surrounded by children. He turned 63 in October. Well, I guess I'm probably the young dud here in this chat, as it were. And yes, congrats on that. Anyway, we need to see what kind of damage we... Oh, nice! I got a 1 in there, which is 4 damage. And then another 2 damage coming off the 3. And a 1 from the 6. But at any rate, that is most definitely enough to put the Laurentic at the bottom of the British Isles as well. Which will more than double the total tonnage that we've sunk already. And we're only in our 2nd patrol. We'll queue up a new spread of torpedoes, and then we'll come back into transit as we're coming back in from patrol. Let's see, a 5 on transit is nothing. And our 3rd transit box. Now that I've got it straight on how it works in the early stages of the war. So once again, 2, 3, and 12 are numbers I'd like to avoid. That's a 5, so we managed to get nothing. Unfortunately, we did fail the mission because we failed on the mine-laying part of it. But I'll tell you what, that 1,800-ton Laurentic, I'll take that for a consolation prize all day long. What do you guys think? And just double checking promotions here. I don't think anything changes from the... I don't think we add anything new. Nope, still the Knight's Cross. You guys would count it as successful. Unfortunately, because we failed the mine-laying part, the patrol does count as a failure. So that's rather unfortunate on that front. But again, the ship getting nailed is quite the consolation prize, so can't completely call this one a dud. We'll have another month of refit. And then I think we'll go... Just puts off upgrades and promotions by a mission. Yeah. That's kind of the unfortunate side effect of it, but no help for that at this point, I don't think, lower slower. Let's see, we want to be... Let's see, that's 8, 9, 10... Actually, let's do... Yeah, this is fine. 11, 12, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This game, by its nature, will produce failures more often than successes. Yes, it will. Actually, wait a second. I should have had... Well, that should be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So these two should be after reloads. But yeah, I think we'll do one more patrol here. And then we're going to call it a stream. But we won't be quite done even after this stream is over yet, because we are going to go, what I'm going to do with the advent calendar that I mentioned during the advent calendar that I mentioned during Pinot with Phoenix yesterday, that will be at the end of the first stream of the day, whether it's the morning stream or an afternoon/evening stream like this. So if you're interested in the advent calendar, make sure you stick around to the end of each video. Make sure you stick to the end of each first video of the day. When you play this game, you don't fail, you scuttle. Well, good to know. By rule, it's a fail, but I'd feel good about it. That's kind of the way I feel about that patrol too, Johnny. So let's see where we're being sent this time. It would help if I flip over the right chart. Let's see, that's a 7. So we're being sent out on a regular British Isles patrol. Okay, so we're back out into a regular British Isles patrol. Rarely scuttle, I play a game I call bobbing for depth charges. Well, kind of amounts to the same thing. You're basically at a point where you're just stopping mines with your face, though. Now that we've got that sorted out, we're into our first transit box. Five, once Phoenix decides to not be an idiot and flip it over to the encounter chart, 5 is nothing. Transit 2. Ten is also nothing. And British Isles 1. Stopping mines with your face. Yeah, I have a similar line for Title Bout 2 and for my boxing games. When one of the fighters gets dominated, I call it the fighter who got dominated decided to employ the stopping as many punches as you can with your face strategy. Usually followed by, yeah, I wouldn't try that strategy again. British Isles 1, though. 6 is ship with an escort. Let's see how big a ship we've got coming at us. Let's see. Oh, that's a tanker. Tanker number 80. Tanker number 80 is the 8,000-ton Anadara. Tanker with an escort as the first patrol. I think this one we're going to let go because it is very early in the patrol and odds are decent that we'll actually get a more appetizing target. So we're going to let that one go. Over into British Isles 2. Five is a ship. So hopefully we get another. Tankers are a juicy target. I know they are, but not when they're being escorted. Yeah, let her go. Not a bad call in my book. That's kind of what I figured. Plus, some of the large freighters are actually bigger than that 8,000 tons. 5 is a large freighter 39. Large freighter 39. Like this one, the 10,900-ton Rotorua. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that. Rotorua. So I guess patience pays off in this case. That one we're definitely going to go after. Let's bring the combat mat back in shot. That'll do. Yeah, you'll get no arguments from me on a target like that. Once I find a large freighter chit, like so. Let's see what time of day we're looking at. Five says it's night, so we are going to attack surfaced. And we'll get up nice and close. So no wolf pack. And once again, you guys probably know the tactic by now. Given the high dud rate early in the war, we're going to throw all of our forward torpedoes at it first. So, fire one. And we're looking at so we've got a net -1 on the modifier. Actually, yeah, net -1. Maybe I'm old or just old-fashioned, but I like to write brief notes or descriptions of the games I play, mainly the war games. That's kind of what I'm doing over in my separate logbook that I've got over here, where I do make notes. I do this especially with the Historic Wings games, and actually the RPGs I've been doing as well, so I can write up my after-action reports or the journal entries or whatever, because I really like getting into the narrative aspects of some of these games. I haven't leaned as much into it with I've just started doing it with the war games, and I think it's helping me with the RPGs as well. But let's start firing some of these torpedoes, shall we? Fire one. 3 minus 2 is a 2. That'll be a hit with no dud. That'll be a hit. Fire 2. Six minus 1 is a 5. That'll be another hit. Fire 3. That'll be another one. And fire 4. That one will be a hit, but that one will be a dud. Still, 3 hits. I'm not going to complain about that. And we need... This one's just over 10,000 tons, so we need 4 damage to put this one in the drink. Looks like it was carrying munitions as well. We must have touched off an explosion. As we do a total of 6 damage. And we sink the Rotorua. I cannot pronounce that ship name twice running, but either way, it's a 10,900 ton ship, and I will take that all day long. The combat mat can leave the shot, and we'll bring our patrol mat back. We'll bring our sub mat back in. We've got British Isles 3 coming up. Uh-oh. Whoa, that's a 2. We've got another capital ship coming at us. The Roto-Rooter. That's as good as we're probably going to get out of that, to be perfectly honest. Let's see what we get for a capital ship this time. The 3 We've got the Courageous this time at 18,600 tons. Jeez. That is the second capital ship in 3 patrols that we've seen. But we nailed the Audacity, so I think we are... Well, I got to do a reload here. We'll put steam torpedoes in here, though. This is most definitely not a ship I'm going to be attacking either at close range or... These boards don't look like the printed version you have. Is this a print and play or something? I have the GMT game. This one, well, most of the official stuff is from ConSimPress. This mat is actually something I found on BGG. If you go looking for the Hunters, it should pop up for you. It's a little bit more of a it's more of a thematic combat mat. Let's see, so what was the ship this time? I think this was the Courageous. Right? Yes, the Courageous. All right, so we need to roll for... So we rolled for the ID. So I guess the question now is, are we going to attack this with an escort, or are we going to let this go? I don't really want to be arrogant on this one, but it's definitely tempting to go after the Courageous, even though it's going to be coming with an escort. So I think... Do we get anything for nailing a second capital ship right now? I don't think so. I think it would go for... Loris says go for glory. Might as well go for glory. So we will attack. So we are going to attack the Courageous. Let's see what time of day it is, though. It is night, so we do have an option of... So we could attack surfaced if I want to, but I don't like that idea because we're going to be facing an escort, a heavy escort detection roll. So I think the better plan here is going to be to attack... I am going to attack submerged. I'm going to attack submerged from medium range. I don't... As much as I feel like going for... As much as I'm going for glory, I don't want to be stupid while doing it, and it seems like trying to get up nice and close, especially while surfaced, is probably all kinds of stupid. So that's what we're going to go with here. So we are attacking submerged. So we're going to throw all 4 of our forward torpedoes at this. So this time we want a 7 or less and a 3 or higher. There's a penalty. I don't think we take the... You're a medium range submerged guy. That's where I'm attacking this one from. I'm just double checking, but I don't think there's a... I think there's a modifier that I lose during a night surface attack. So we don't have that penalty, but we are attacking submerged. Fire 1. 7 or less on the white dice, and 3 or more on the black die. Unfortunately, that is a hit. I'm in 1940 right now, Conflict. I didn't even realize that. So 1940 doesn't have any kind of doesn't give me any kind of modifier. Unfortunately, that 7 would be a hit, but it's a dud. Which is very annoying, but no help for that. Fire 2. That's an 8, which wouldn't have been a hit anyway, but that's another dud. Fire 3. That is definitely a miss. And fire 4. Miss, and that would have been a hit. That's unfortunate. So we're not surfaced, so we rolled for that. We are going to exceed test depth as we go for escort detection. So I'm not going to bother rolling to see if the boat survives, because again, we can't roll a 1 on 2 dice. So we don't have. So we have a -1 on. Actually, we have a plus. No, we have a -1 because we're exceeding test depth. You hate duds. Take the dodge action. Damn it! I will echo all of that. Let's see if we can get away though. We've got a +1 for a capital ship, so the exceeding test depth cancels out. Fortunately, the 6 lets us avoid detection. So we do manage to avoid detection. Undetected. So we did all of that. And then we have to roll for, and then actually, so we looped back down to here. So we didn't sink anything. We're going to reload. What are we going to reload with? We've only got 2 patrols in the British Isles left. I'll reload with electric torpedoes. So we reload. And there's no point in following because since the capital ship wasn't damaged, it gets away, so the encounter is going to end. Which is unfortunate, but hey, sometimes that's just the way it goes in war. British Isles 3 coming up with our next patrol roll once I finish making my notes. Actually, this is British Isles 4 coming up, so let's make the right notes, Phoenix. Six is ship with an escort. Let's see what we've got coming at us. Small freighter with an escort, that is probably going to F off we're probably going to let them F off. The 2,100 ton spend. Yeah, we're going to let that one F off because a 2,100 ton small freighter with an escort, yeah, no, that's way more effort than I want to put into this. British Isles 5. That's a 3-0. So now we're into transit. 2,100 with an escort, not worth it. That was kind of my thoughts exactly. So now we're into transit 3. All right, that's a 10, that's nothing. And transit 4. That's a 9, also nothing. So we're back home. So 1 ship sunk. So that was an eventful patrol. We let a tanker with an escort go to nail a bigger large freighter, And then we had a little bit of foreplay with another capital ship. But of course, that capital ship basically gave us the finger. So thank you guys for the kind words on the nice tight patrol, and well done. That will do it for this playthrough of the Hunters. We'll probably have more of this career coming up in the future. But of course, as I mentioned, we are not done yet because we've got the Advent calendar that we're going to crack. So feel free to keep... I will gladly interact with chat while I'm cleaning up, but we are going to crack the first day of our... Actually, we're going to have to open the Advent calendar, and then we'll crack the first day of that. Unfortunately, we don't get a promotions roll yet because we had the one failed patrol on the mine laying. So again, rather unfortunate, but can't be helped, right? Glad I wandered in tonight. Good video. Glad you enjoyed it tonight, Johnny. I know I've had some rough videos recently, but this was actually a pretty good one, all things considered. That one goes there. The rest of these go there. Torpedoes. Deck gun ammo. Well, always a pleasure to see everybody in chat tonight. And Lower Slower, you got to try to stop by a little bit more, especially I've been starting to dabble in... Especially I've been starting to also dabble in sports games, and we'll see more of those during this entire month of Advent of the Phoenix. Which is all Advent of the Phoenix is just a fancy name for a December content explosion on the channel. But speaking of Advent, once I finish getting that put away, as I mentioned, we can get all of this out of the way. Something fun I decided to do on the channel for the first time this year is what would Advent be without my own personal Advent calendar to crack on the channel. So this is an Adventure calendar, 24 thematic polyhedral dice and more, Kaiju Christmas from Black Oak Workshop. What's inside? We've got 24 all-new custom dice designed specifically to match the theme of the calendar, yada, yada, yada. And breaking news, the wintry Northlands are under attack from a massive kaiju who has broken free from beneath the ice caps, and the rampaging beast is out of control. Reports say Santa himself is taking action to defend the North Pole. Prepare for an epic show in the snow. Mega Claus versus Mecha Claus. Who will triumph in this colossal struggle between two great titans? I'm sure we'll find out. So first things first. Sports games have never been interesting to you, but playthroughs keep me listening. I'm glad to hear that, Conflict, and the reason I've started exploring sports games a little bit more is because, for me at least, sports games are a way for me to experience the sport without all the nonsense with it. So there's no cutting to commercials or Taylor Swift every 30 seconds. There's not a lot of the other BS that goes with it, like the referees aren't a thing in the game. It's just a feel for playing the game. So that's kind of why I like the sports games. That's why I like sports games a bit more. And actually just opened out the other way. So here's our look at the Advent calendar on the inside. As it is December 1st. Oh, this I don't like. I wish it would be something like I wish it would be like 1, 2, 3, yada, yada, yada. But instead it's all scattered around, where we've got 1 up here, then 2, then 3, so on. That's going to get very annoying in a hurry. But let's see what we've got in the first day of our Advent calendar. We'll pull that open, and oh. It's a thematic die, but I really don't like this at all. Let's see if I can tell what number it is on here. And of course, the only thing I see here is a 1, 2, 3. Unless... No. The only one you can only tell what number it is on this side, whereas looking at this, purple caltrop, cool. Well, I'm not really impressed by this one so far, because other than on this face of the die, and it might be a little bit hard to see, that's the only one I can tell what the numbers actually are. Because the other three, unless it's, no. I was going to say, unless the numbers are hidden in here, but I don't see anything in here, which is actually... Wait, what? It's actually really annoying, Conflict. So let me show you what I've got going on. So it looks like we've got crab here. Yeah, it's a gaming advent calendar. This one happens to have thematic dice. But no, I'm really not liking this one. Where did I get this? I actually got this at my local game store. Is this a game? And it goes with the game. This looks like it's just got thematic dice in it, but it does not go with the hunters. This is something completely different. So to answer your question, Conflict, I got this at my local game store, and Jay, I'm definitely with you in that this is very hard to read. Let me see if there's... Actually, hold on a second. Never mind. I was hoping there would be like a rules insert or something in here, but of course, that's all white. Let me see if there's something I can open over here, which, oh no, never mind. That's actually just the holder for the dice. So I'm trying to feel for a rule in there, for like a rules insert or something in here, but I wasn't feeling anything in here. So it might be something that goes with whatever game is in here. Let me see if there's anything on this side. Then I just sent some of the dice flying, I think. But yeah, there's definitely... Yeah, it's a cool advent calendar, and I actually want to see how this die goes through the tower. It goes through okay, but yeah, I do not like at all that A, it's hard to read, and B, except for this die, where you can kind of see what the number is by the face on it, you can't really tell what the other numbers are unless... No. That's actually really annoying. But like I said, it goes through fine. Let's see, unless it's supposed to be like... Yeah, I can't figure out how this is supposed to go. Maybe it's supposed to be... Actually, no, I think I know how it goes now. So it looks like it's on this... So it looks like it's on this face. So when this face is up, it's a 3, then a 2, then a 1. And if it's face up like this, it's probably a 4. That, I think, is how this is supposed to go. But man, it is annoying that I'm going to have to come to that conclusion. I actually had one of my dice, I think, go flying. I'm going to have to pull this. Oh, I got a couple of dice that apparently came out. So let me rearrange some of these. Hopefully, I'm not going to spoil you guys too much on what's going on with the calendar, but... Let me see if I can get that closed back up. Let me make sure I've got the... Okay. Let me put this stupid thing back in. There we go. Now we got to get this back in. Yes, I'm trying to... Oh, I see the problem here. I pushed that inward. So yes, try to avert your eyes on spoilers. But that is today's entry in That is today's entry in the advent calendar this year, but yeah, still have the musing that it's weird that I've got to try to read the die that way, but I think it'll work, all told. Now that I've at least got it somewhat straight, I can stop rambling on it now and let's wrap this stream up. So I am going to switch around my content schedule for tomorrow. I had decided, yeah, it is all dice. What I originally had scheduled for odd die but a cool concept. Yep, that's kind of what I'm thinking on this as well. So what I had scheduled is I had Silent Victory scheduled for tomorrow morning, and then we were going to do another session of Star Wars Force and Destiny, which is an RPG I've been exploring on the channel, tomorrow afternoon. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch those because I don't want to do two sessions of sub games in a row. So tomorrow morning at about my normal start, when I'd be starting stream on Sunday morning, so probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll be going live on the channel with with another session of Star Wars Force and Destiny by Edge Studios. And tomorrow afternoon, we'll be doing a session of Silent Victory, which that one I believe is also by ConSimPress or GMT Games, depending on which version you have. But thank you for watching this video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.